So these are questions designed to ask about your management experience. So we're kind of specifically talking management here.
Okay.
So kind of introductory questions. How did you work your way from the start of your career to where you are now?
You mean you want all 40 years?
Just to say a 30 to 60 second summary of where you started your career to where you've ended up.
Oh, okay. Well, I started as an entry-level engineer and took on different assignments, different engineering assignments. And let's see, after a little over 6 years, then I got my first management position, and then I was in management ever since, or for the rest of my career in different assignments, but all within the same discipline, telecommunications. What more information?
Let's see, the next question is a little bit of a follow-up on that.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little more about your personal leadership experience?
What I experienced, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I really had a lot of good luck working for really good people.
Mm.
So my first boss was terrific, and my second boss was terrific.
You had good examples to follow.
Yes. Yeah. So I probably didn't realize it at the time that I was picking things up from them, but that was really good. And then, then I had another good boss and another good boss, and, all these different engineering assignments. And then when I became a manager, I had good managers, not as good as some of the folks I worked with, but I got to see different styles.
Okay.
When you're just a staff engineer, you're being directed at what to do. When you get into a management position, then depending on your manager's style of management, you're either given a little bit of direction or you're just left completely on your own. Okay, it's your department, you run with it.
All right. So would you say you saw these different examples and were able to kind of pick in pieces of like, oh, I like the way this worked, I'm going to remember that and I'm going to try and do that, versus I didn't like the way that person did that and I'm going to not do that?
I probably did that. I really appreciated not being micromanaged. I really liked, being given some direction. Okay, here's what we need you and your team to do, and then let me run the team. In other words, don't. If you want me to run the team, I'll run the team. But if you want me to just follow orders, then I can do that, but I'd rather not.
So there's a lot. They entrusted you to just do your job and and let you do it.
Yeah. The managers that let me run the team that I was responsible for, I enjoyed working with them a lot more than somebody who was just, in my business every day. Do this, or I don't like the way you're doing that. So I had one particular boss that was he was more focused on the process rather than the results. So, if you want results, let me get the results. But he was more interested he wanted to tell me how to get the results.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm picking up that your process of learning to be a manager came a lot from watching the other examples that you were working with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I like that. Next question. What do you find is the best way to stay in communication with your team members?
Wow, that's you get a broad response there, because I've had teams that were all located within the same office building. And then I've also had teams that were spread across 4 states. So when you all work in the same physical area, I like to talk to people every day. So, go to their office, talk with them. And I'm big on, or I was big on, going to their environment and talking with them rather than saying, come into my office so we can talk.
Okay.
I wanted to go to their space where they're comfortable, let them sit behind their desk, and I would be the visitor rather than, them coming into my office and sitting over there. So I just thought they're probably more comfortable and more at ease in their own space. So I would go visit them. Again, if you're physically co-located, but then otherwise you got to be on the phone.
Okay.
And I preferred being on the phone as opposed to email.
All right. So you made a point to kind of keep things more like personal and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Shifting gears a little bit. If you had to pick one, what is the most important criterion in determining which employee is to be promoted?
Ooh, gotta pick just one. One and only one.
We can discuss your top choices, but yeah, if you could pick one.
Could you give me that question again?
Yes. What is the most important criterion in determining which employee is to be promoted? So you got leadership position open and you got to bring somebody up to fill that position.
Ah, okay.
How do you pick that person, or what's the characteristic that stands out to you most that would be like that's the one?
Okay. Probably their people skills, interpersonal skills, because in all but very rare circumstances, we get things done through other people. A manager gets things done through other people, and even individual contributors have to ask for help from their teammates.
Mm-hmm.
So you get your work done by getting help from this person, and well, I need this and I need that so I can produce this for my boss. So by and large, we get things done through the contributions of other people. So if you can't work with other people, then it's going to be extremely difficult to be successful. And that's certainly, I think, the number one criteria in a leadership position.
Some people skills.
Is people skills, yeah. Being able to deal with, how to ask people for help, how to instruct people what you need, how to console somebody when they have a problem. You got to be able to work. You got to be able to work with people.
So how do you inspire your team members to be motivated and measure their engagement in their work?
Try to emphasize to them and make sure they understand how important the work that they do is. So, try to get them to buy into, what you're doing is really important and here's why. Yeah. And I guess try to get away for them to be self-motivated.
Yeah.
For them to think, I need to get this done because there's people out there that really need the services I provide, or they need the product that I produce. They're counting on me to get their job done.
So they're not that way. They're not feeling like I just have to get this busy work done because it's my job and I can collect a paycheck. But instead, you're saying the work you do has value. You are
Absolutely.
You're not just collecting your paycheck. You're really contributing into the team, into all these people's lives, and like this is the value and the impact that your work has, and kind of give them that reward to know that.
Yeah, I want them to feel good about what they're doing. They're not just producing a widget. It's actually something that enables people to earn their paycheck. You know, they're counting on you. They can't get their things done without you. You know, and you know, in the business I was in, that actually meant there's people out there in the world that they desperately need the product that we delivered. So, I mean, it impacted people's livelihoods.
Nice closing question here. Can you tell me about one of your very, very best single days at work for you and your team? It'd be a really exciting day. Something special happened or whatever. What was the very best day at work?
Oh, wow. I had lots of good days at
One
work.
that comes to mind right away?
Well, I'll tell you the first one that comes to mind is I had a team. I had 12 direct reports, or did I have 14? Anyway, there were 10 managers that reported to me, and we had I had given them a challenge, a financial challenge. We had been asked, we'd been given a budget at the beginning of the year, and then at some point in time through the year, and it was in the first half of the year, we hadn't gotten very far, where budgets were going to be constrained, and so we needed to reduce our already constrained budget. And so I issued a challenge. I told the guys where we needed to end up. And of course they went, "That's impossible. Do you realize what we have to do?" And I said, "Yeah, I know what this is going to take, and I don't know how we're going to get there." So I issued them a challenge. I said, "I'll tell you what, if we hit this goal, I will take you to this special steak place. And this is a renowned restaurant."
Okay.
You know, most of the time when we had team meals and that, we were eating, you know, hamburgers, and I told them that I'll take you to this place. And they just all said, "Are you serious? You would take us there?" I mean, it's like a 4-star, 5-star restaurant. I said, yeah, you hit that goal. And the best day that I'm thinking of is the day we realized they just hit that goal. So the next time we get together, we're going to this place and we're going to have steaks. And that was great. That was great. I mean, that was good for me because, yeah, I spent probably 5 times the amount of money on that one meal that I'd ever spent on a meal for my team before. But you know, it was orders of magnitude. You know, we saved hundreds of thousands of dollars. We cut hundreds of thousands, 6 figures off our budget. And I remember one of them said, "Heck, we'll eat peanut butter and jelly and bologna sandwiches for the entire year if we get to go." and they were really motivated by that. So that was good for me to see, you know, putting that out there, giving them something as a team to work on. And during the meal, they just went over the top talking about what this is going to cost me. And it was a huge challenge. I mean, none of us knew how we were going to get there, and we got there. So that's one thing. And that was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed that.
All right, that's a cool story. Well, thank you for taking the time to do this interview with me today.
Sure.